Hello students, in this video we are going to study the remaining exercise, that is answer the following questions in detail for chapter 4. The chapter name is Heat, class 7, subject science, NCERT. So before starting this exercise, let me recall what we had learned in the chapter. So we had seen that the degree of hotness or coldness of any object is called its temperature. And whether an object is hot or cold, we can say it by its temperature. Then we had seen that how we can increase the temperature or how we can decrease the temperature of any object. So the temperature of a substance increases on giving heat to that substance, and the temperature of that substance decreases on absorbing heat from that substance. So this is how we can increase or decrease the temperature of any substance. Then we had seen about the instrument which is used to measure the temperature of any object. So the instrument to measure the temperature of an object is called the thermometer. And there are various different types of thermometers we had already seen. So the thermometer that measures our body temperature is called a clinical thermometer or doctor's thermometer. Then we had seen the range of this thermometer. So clinical thermometer can measure temperature from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. And in Fahrenheit scale, it's from 94 degree Fahrenheit to 108 degree Fahrenheit. And the normal temperature of the human body is 37 degrees Celsius. And in the Fahrenheit scale, it's 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Then we had seen about laboratory thermometer. So the thermometer which is used in laboratory is known as laboratory thermometer. And the range of this kind of thermometer is usually from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Then we had seen maximum and minimum thermometer. So the thermometer which is used to measure the maximum and minimum temperature of the day is known as the maximum minimum thermometer. Then we had seen one special construction in clinical thermometer. So in clinical thermometer, there is a kink, or you can say constriction, near the bulb of mercury. And this kink prevents mercury level from falling down. So it is present in the clinical thermometer, where in the laboratory thermometer this kind of structure is not there. Then we had seen the transfer of heat and different ways or methods for transfer of heat. So the heat flows from a body which is at the higher temperature to a body at the lower temperature. And that is why hot tea becomes cold due to the flowing of heat in the atmosphere. The heat transfer takes place from the tea to the atmosphere. And when heating one end of an aluminium rod with the flame of candle, heat flows from its nearer end to far off end. So the process of transfer of heat from the hot end of an solid object towards the cold end of that solid object is known as the conduction. This type of or this mode of transfer of heat is known as the conduction. And the solid substance like metals become hot due to the process of conduction. Then we had seen good conductors of heat. So the substance through which conduction of heat take place easily are called good conductors of heat. We had also seen the example of this kind of objects or good conductors, that is metals like copper, silver, aluminium, iron, etc. are the good conductors of heat. Then we had seen poor conductors of heat or insulators. You can also say it insulators. So the materials which do not allow heat to pass through them easily are called poor conductors of heat or insulators. And in the example we had seen wood, plastic, ebonite, leather, wool, glass, rubber, etc. are the poor conductors of heat. Then we had seen the another mode of transfer of heat, that is convection. So on heating the vessel containing water, water gets heated in the vessel, and this mode of heat transfer in water is known as the convection. Liquid and gaseous substance get heated by the mode of transfer of heat called convection. But there is one exceptional case, that is with mercury. Mercury is a liquid even though it gets heated by the mode of transfer of heat called conduction. It do not or the transfer of heat do not take place in the mercury by the mode of convection, but it take place by the mode of conduction. Then we had seen the example of transfer of heat due to the convection. So in coastal region, sea breeze during the daytime and land breeze during the night time occur due to the convection. Then we had seen the third and last mode of transfer of heat, that is radiation. So from the sun, heat comes to us by the process known as the radiation. The transfer of heat by radiation does not require any medium. And we had seen some phenomena regarding this heat that we are experiencing in our day-to-day life. So we are experiencing that dark color objects absorb radiation better than the light color objects, and this is the reason why we feel more comfortable in light color of clothes in the summer season, or we are wearing light color clothes in the summer season. Then woolen clothes keep us warm during the winter season. It is because wool is the poor conductor of heat and it has air trapped in between the fibers of the wool. Then we had seen that normally heat is more absorbed by black color objects compared to the white color objects. So these are the different things that we had learned in the chapter. Then after we had seen textbook solution for this chapter, and in the extra exercise we had seen MCQs, fill in the blanks, then after answer in one word, true false, answer in one sentence, that you had already written in your notebook. Then after we had seen select an odd one out, short question answer that were not given in your homework. Then after we had seen scientific reasons, differences, classification and matching, that you also already written in your notebook. Now next exercise is question number 12, that is answer the following questions in detail. In that first one is draw the diagram of clinical thermometer and explain its construction and working. We have to draw the diagram of clinical thermometer and we have to explain its construction as well as working principle. So now let me start. So here the answer is given to you, clinical thermometer. So first is its use is given to you, that it is used to measure the temperature of a human body. To measure the temperature of human body, we are using this clinical thermometer, or you can say also doctor's thermometer. We cannot measure the temperature of the different kinds of objects with this thermometer. And then next here the diagram is shown to you, thermometer. As you can see in the diagram, there is a kink like or constriction is there in this thermometer. In the capillary tube, here the capillary tube is shown to you, in which the mercury is there. Then after here the normal body temperature is also shown to you, that is at 37 degrees Celsius, and here below the degree Fahrenheit scale is also shown to you, which represent 98.6 degree Fahrenheit, which is normal human body temperature, and it is shown by the red arrow. And here you can see long narrow uniform glass tube is there, in which the capillary tube is there and mercury is present in this capillary tube. So now let me see its construction. So as in the diagram we had seen, it consists of a long narrow uniform glass tube which has the capillary tube in which mercury runs, in which mercury is present, and mercury changes its levels in the capillary tube, and which is placed in the long narrow uniform glass tube. It has a bulb at one end and is connected with the capillary tube. Here, as you can see, this one is the mercury bulb. At its one end of the thermometer, you can see mercury bulb is there, and which is at the end connected to the capillary tube. The next is both contains mercury, which expands or contracts as the temperature around the bulb changes. As we are keeping this thermometer in our mouth, the temperature around this bulb get changed. So that's why the mercury expands or contract as the temperature changes. And there is the scale on the thermometer. The scale we use is the Celsius scale, and it is indicated by the degree Celsius. In the clinical thermometer, the range of the temperature is from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius, and in the Fahrenheit scale, it's from 94 degree Fahrenheit to 110 degree Fahrenheit that we had already seen. Then there is a kink or small constriction at the bottom of the capillary tube near the bulb of the thermometer. Here in the diagram it is shown to you. The kink is present here at the bottom of the capillary tube near the bulb of the thermometer. The next point is kink or small constriction. What is its use? So it is given to you that it prevents mercury level from falling down on its own. After removing it from our mouth, the mercury level does not fall down because of this kink. So it prevents mercury level from falling down on its own. The next is there is a red arrow or mark at 37 degrees Celsius temperature, which represents the normal body temperature of the human being. So this is the construction of thermometer. It consists of a long narrow uniform glass tube, and in which the capillary tube is present, and in that mercury runs or mercury expands or contracts according to the temperature. And at the one end of this thermometer, mercury bulb is present, and which is connected to the capillary tube. And this bulb contains mercury which expands or contracts as per the temperature or as the temperature around the bulb changes. And there is the two scale to measure the temperature is present in this kind of thermometer, that is degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. And the range for this kind of thermometer is from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius, and in Fahrenheit scale it's from 94 degree Fahrenheit to 110 degree Fahrenheit. And there is also kink like structure is present at the bottom of this capillary tube, and this prevents mercury level from falling down on its own. And at the 37 degrees Celsius there is the red arrow which represents the normal body temperature of the human being. Now how this kind of thermometer works? So working of this thermometer. So first of all, wash the clinical thermometer with an antiseptic solution. Now hold it firmly and give it a few jerks to bring the level of mercury below the 35 degrees Celsius. To bring the mercury level below the 35 degrees Celsius, we have to give some jerks to this kind of thermometer, because the kink is present in this thermometer, that's why. Then after, hold the bulb of the thermometer under your tongue for 1 minute, and after 1 minute you can take out the thermometer from your mouth and you can note the reading which shows the temperature of your body. So its working is very simple. First you have to wash this kind of thermometer with antiseptic solution. Then after, to bring the mercury level below the 35 degrees Celsius, you have to give some jerks to this thermometer, and then after you have to hold this bulb of this thermometer under your tongue for 1 minute, and after 1 minute you can take out the thermometer from your mouth and you can note or observe the reading of the thermometer which represents the temperature of your body. So this is the working principle and construction of the clinical thermometer. Now next question number 2. So before this question 2, we will see the working principle and construction of this kind of clinical thermometer. To measure the body temperature of human being, we are using clinical thermometer, or you can say doctor's thermometer. Here it is shown to you, clinical thermometer. It has the glass tube, then mercury filled bulb at one end in which the mercury is there, and fine capillary tube which is placed in this narrow uniform glass tube. Here also you can see small constriction. We know it by the name of kink. And the range is also shown to you. So range for this kind of clinical thermometer is from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius, and in Fahrenheit scale it's from 95 degree Fahrenheit to 108 degree Fahrenheit. So temperature is given by reading the scale inscribed on the side of this kind of thermometers. Now let me see the working of the clinical thermometer. So clinical thermometer is placed inside the mouth for the measurement of the body temperature, or to measure the body temperature. As we are putting this in our mouth, the mercury heats up and expands, and we have to observe this. When this gets steady in the capillary tube, we can note the reading, and there is also constriction is there which prevents the mercury level from falling down. So this indicates the exact body temperature, and after removing we can measure the temperature. The reading does not change on removing the thermometer from the mouth. This is because of the kink. So constriction prevents the mercury from falling back into the bulb, and mercury column breaks, and thus it remains stationary in the tube. So we can easily measure or note the reading. To reset the thermometer, we need to swing or give it jerk for some times. Mercury column returns to the bulb. So now why we are using this mercury in the clinical thermometer? So it has some advantages. Because of that we are using the mercury in the thermometers. So now let me see its advantages. So it has some properties, that is mercury is the metal, and thus it is the good conductor of heat. So it expands instantly when it gets heated, or when the temperature is rises, it expands in, so we can say it rising thread of mercury. The next property is it remains a liquid in a liquid state at the temperature in the wide range of temperature, that is from -39 degrees Celsius to 357 degrees Celsius. So that's why we are using the mercury in the thermometer. It has also one another property, that is it does not stick to the glass. So these are the some of the reasons why we are using mercury in the thermometers. It has also disadvantage, that it is risky as it is poisonous. If the mercury bulb breaks and mercury leaks into our mouth, then it can even cause the death. So to replace this, or to replace this kind of mercury based clinical thermometer, nowadays these electronic thermometers or electronic digital thermometers are there, and scanner thermometers, this kind of scanner thermometers are also there. So that was the clinical thermometer. Now next question is about laboratory thermometer. Draw the diagram of the laboratory thermometer and explain its working and construction. So here first its use is given to you, why we are using this kind of thermometer or laboratory thermometers. So it is used to measure the temperature of objects with greater precision in laboratory. In the laboratory, to measure the temperature of different kinds of object, we are using this kind of thermometer or laboratory thermometers. Here the construction of this kind of thermometer or diagram is given to you. Here you can see the bulb of mercury or bulb with mercury. Then after, in this capillary tube, you can see the mercury is present, and this capillary tube is placed in the narrow uniform glass tube. And here you can see the reading also, which is represented in the degree Celsius scale. So now let me start the construction of this kind of thermometer. First point is, it consists of a very long, narrow, uniform glass tube which has the capillary tube in which mercury runs. Same as the clinical thermometer, it is mainly consists of very long and narrow uniform glass tube, and in which the capillary tube is there and mercury runs, that is expand or contracts in this capillary tube. And at the one end of the capillary tube there is the cylindrical type arrangement like a bulb bulge out as shown in the figure, or you can say bulb like structure is there at the one end of this capillary tube, that is bulb with mercury, in which also mercury is present. Now next is, this bulb contains mercury which expands or contracts as the temperature around this bulb changes. As the temperature changes, this mercury expands or contracts according to that temperature. And there is a scale on thermometer. The range of this kind of laboratory thermometer is generally from -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So this is the construction of the laboratory thermometer. That it consists of a very long narrow glass tube, and which has the capillary tube in which the mercury is there present, and one end of the capillary tube it is connected with the bulb, and in which mercury is also present, which contracts or expand according to the temperature or according to the object's temperature which is placed around this bulb. And there is the scale on this thermometer, and the range for this thermometer is -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So this is the laboratory thermometer. The construction is mostly same as to clinical thermometer, but one difference is there, that kink is not present in the laboratory thermometer, where the kink is present in the clinical thermometer. So now let me see its working. So for that, to measure the temperature with this kind of thermometer, you have to put the laboratory thermometer in this substance in such a way that the bulb of the thermometer should be completely surrounded by the substance whose temperature is being measured. Now let's suppose we want to measure the temperature of hot water. Then we have to put this kind of laboratory thermometer in such a way that the bulb of this thermometer gets surrounded by the water whose temperature we want to measure. Then after, you have to make sure that bulb should not touch the bottom or sides of the container. If you want to measure the temperature of water which we had taken into container, then we have to make sure that the bulb of this kind of thermometer should not touch the bottom or the sides, any of the side of the container. And we have to hold the thermometer vertically for a while, and we have to observe the movement of the mercury level in the thermometer. At that moment only we have to observe the movement of the mercury in the thermometer, and we have to hold this kind of thermometer vertically. We have to wait till the mercury level becomes steady, and then after we can note down the reading of the thermometer. When the mercury level gets steady or stationary, at that time we can note down the reading of the thermometer, and this observation shows the temperature of that substance. In our case, the temperature of the water. So this is how we can measure the temperature with the help of this kind of thermometer. First, we have to put this thermometer in the substance in such a way that bulb of this kind of thermometer should completely covered or surrounded by the substance whose temperature we want to measure. Then after, we have to make sure that the bulb of the thermometer should not touch the bottom or any sides of this container. And we have to hold this thermometer vertically, and we have to observe the movement of the mercury level in the thermometer until the mercury level gets steady. And then after, we can note the reading of the thermometer, which shows the temperature of the given substance or given object. So this is the laboratory thermometer. Now next question is question number 3. That is, explain sea bridge and land bridge with necessary figures. Land bridge and sea bridge. Here it's a land bridge. So first, sea bridge. Let me see the sea bridge. The people living in the coastal areas experiences an interesting phenomena created due to the natural convection. Due to the natural convection or the mode of transfer of heat, that is convection, the people who are living near the seashore area or near the coastal areas, they experience an interesting phenomena, that is sea bridge and land bridge. So now let me see what is sea bridge and land bridge. So first here sea bridge is given to you. In the coastal region, the sun gives equal amount of heat energy to the land surface as well as sea water. In the coastal region, the sea water is also there and land is also there. So the sun gives the equal amount of heat to both of them. Now during the day, the temperature of the land rises more rapidly as compared to the sea water. The temperature of the land rises more quickly as compared to the sea, and hence the air above, which is present above the land, becomes hot and it rises up, and the cooler air which is present on the sea, so that starts blowing towards the land. As the air which is present above the land, it rises up, the space created on the land, so this air which is present on the sea, they start blowing towards the land, and it take place the space of the air which is present on the land, and at the same time warm air from the land moves towards the sea to complete this cycle, and this air forms the sea bridge. So that's, we can say that the air from the sea is called sea bridge. It's blow from sea towards the land. So this is sea bridge. Here in the picture is also it is given to you. So here as you can see, it occurs during the daytime. The air which is present on this land, that becomes quickly hotter, or its temperature rises quickly, so it moves upward, and here the space created so that the air which is present on the sea, they blow towards this land, and to occupy this space or to continue this cycle, the air, warmer air, that will blow on the towards the seaside. So the air which blows from sea to land, that is known as the sea bridge. And land bridge is totally opposite to this. This occurs during the night time. So during the night time, the land as well as the sea water cools down, but the temperature of the land falls more rapidly as compared to the sea water. Land can increase or decrease its temperature more quickly than the water, so it cools down rapidly as compared to the sea water, and therefore at the night the temperature of the sea water is more than the land, and hence at night cool air starts moving from this land to sea. So this is known as the land bridge. The bridge which blows from land to sea is known as the land bridge. Here it is shown to you. So during the night, the land as well as the sea water cools down, but the temperature of the land falls more rapidly as compared to the sea water. As we had seen, land can increase its temperature or it can decrease more quickly as compared to the water. So therefore at night, the temperature of the sea water is more than the land. and hence at night the cool air that starts moving from the land towards the sea. So this bridge is known as the land bridge. So this is sea bridge and land bridge. So here our chapter gets over. Chapter 4, that is heat. This last question, that is answer the following question in details. In that 3 questions are there: working diagram and construction of clinical thermometer. Second question is laboratory thermometer, and last one is sea bridge and land bridge. So this question answer you have to write in your notebook. And here our chapter 4 gets over. In the next video we will see our next chapter. Thank you.